Buongiorno, distinguished guest, representative of international NGOs and everyone. Very good afternoon from Nepal. All protocols observed. First, allow me to congratulate Italian Foundation on Reggio di Luce, a ray of light for its 20th anniversary. It is my great honor and privilege to be with you all, though it is virtual. On behalf of Global South Coalition for Dignified Menstruation and Radha Podal Foundation, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Italian Foundation on Reggio di Luce, a ray of light, especially to Dario Podige, responsible for Asia, for his leadership to serve my people and country Nepal. Most importantly, for acknowledging the urgency of dignified menstruation while working on women empowerment in Nepal. 11 years back, the colleagues from Italian Foundation of Nepal team asked me to facilitate a training as a consultant. I replied them to have me as a strategic partner in order to build the synergy, because I considered the Jumla, where Italian Foundation has been working for long, as my second birthplace. You can find more details in a book entitled Jumla, a Nurse's Story, available online. The German version also published from Austria. I continuously engaged with the Italian Foundation Nepal's team in both paid and unpaid basis. Whatever the case, I am keenly watched the activities for it as well wisher since then, and I always open to contribute whatever possible from my end. Once again, thank you for trusting me and my mission. Dear guest, I believe that you have already known some extent about my journey. Why do I dedicate my life for striving dignified menstruation? Let me share my personal story very briefly. I learned the discriminatory menstrual practices like taboos, stigma and restrictions from my mother when I was about 7 years old, and continuously learning about it from my sisters, friends and neighborhood. I articulated that my mother or sisters or menstruators considered powerless, disadvantaged and inferior than men due to the menstruation. So I was begging, crying with the God to change my sex from girl to boy, because I did not like to live as a girl child by following all discriminatory menstrual practices as well as discrimination, domination, oppression in every moment. I was so traumatized, so I even attempted suicide when I was about 9 years old. Unfortunately, it was a failed attempt, but I continued my quest for menstrual dignity. As a result, I ran away from home for 5 days when I had a first menstruation at the age of the 40. Because I did not like to follow menstrual practices as my sisters and mother had followed. Next year, coincidentally, I went to nursing college and I knew the essence of menstruation for existing this universe and a means for our birth, including all boys and men. Since then, I started to speak about menstrual dignity or dignified menstruation at various capacity. Though it was not smooth, I experienced several types of exclusion, including death threats in Nepal. Surprisingly, the friends from developed countries and big organizations also blame me as a radical, exclude me as irrelevant demands, boycott from funds and other opportunities, as a disruptor due to demanding for menstrual dignity. I have been working in very difficult situation in terms of funding and support. The ideology and campaign of dignified menstruation is severely under threats even today. Despite having such challenges, I have been leading the global network called Global South Coalition for Dignified Menstruation and pledging to change the mindset of donors, UN agencies, academia, private agencies to invest for menstrual dignity or dignified menstruation through research, trainings, publications, conferences, and marking International Day for Dignified Menstruation for 8th December since 2019. Because dignified menstruation is very inclusive, innovative, holistic, and transformative approach to achieving overarching gender equality, improved sexual and reproductive health and rights, prevent domestic violence including child marriage, and improving climate justice. The current wave of menstrual movement is primarily focused around menstrual product tax or menstrual management or WAS. Is a lifelong advocate for dignified menstruation from Global South. These concerns are important but not guaranteeing the menstrual dignity, but not dismantling the all forms of menstrual discrimination. If you are using the menstrual dignity as a lens of your work, you would multiply your impact around menstrual movement and human rights. If you are working around WAS or menstrual product or health or education or climate justice, due to your passion and expertise or availability of the funds, please do keep the menstrual dignity at center. Otherwise, you will be repeating the same things. Means you are making the mistakes. You know why? Even today, many girls and women, trans men and queer, or who born with the uterus and ovaries, are experiencing visible and invisible forms of menstrual discrimination in over 5,000 names, forms and magnitude all around the globe. They are living and imposed to living in conditions with undignified, humiliating, inferiority and powerlessness. In not only for the 5 days of the bleeding, but also throughout the life cycle of menstruators including menopause. Most importantly, menstrual discrimination plays a vital role for constructing and shaping the power and patriarchy since childhood, and it makes a vicious circle and that affect all moments of life of menstruators. Thus, menstrual discrimination is no more private or women's issue. It is a matter of the economics, politics, climate justice, education, health, sports and so on, because we cannot imagine a place without the presence of menstruators. Let me give an example from Bangladesh, where a report revealed that the 70% women take unpaid leave due to the menstruation. You can see the status of the women in economic empowerment. In Kenya, a 14 years girl committed suicide in 2019 due to being teased by her schoolmate while having her first menstruation at school, even though the Kenyan government has been distributing free menstrual pads since 2017. See, the menstrual products fail to dismantle the menstrual discrimination. In the UK, according to the report of Plan International 2021, nearly 2 million girls have missed a half a day or full day of school due to lack of proper education on menstruation and stigma same around menstruation. Thus, menstrual discrimination is very complex and multifaceted. It is not only a form of gender-based violence, but also the outcomes for many forms of gender-based violence, including child marriage. It is a violation of series of human rights at once. Unfortunately, we globally fail to acknowledge the role of menstrual discrimination in construction of the power relationship and patriarchy and socialization since childhood. Sadly, often we global actors miss to discuss about it in the name of the fear, culture, religion, poverty, and consider it a private or women's issue and so on. And people and organizations like you do not like to be a lie, but like to protect the discriminatory menstrual practices in the name of the culture. Isn't it a high time to challenge ourselves? Where is our money? Where is our time? Why aren't you getting impact? In the other words, why don't your home not safe? Because home is a fertile land to nurture the unequal power relationship and patriarchy that is drive due to the menstrual discrimination. This is how our reports are merely no impact. The fear, silence, ignorance, misinterpretation around menstruation is our main enemy, though the menstrual discrimination is mostly invisible and without the guns and bombs. If we only focus on menstrual management or distribution of the menstrual pads or constructing the toilets or install the water taps without using the principles of dignified menstruation, your pads or toilets or tap are not used by the menstruating people due to discrimination. If you are working through the lens of dignified menstruation, your attempts would produce impact on multiplier manner. Therefore, do not delay to incorporate the dignified menstruation into your program or even make a matter of informal conversation at home, school, community or workplace, because dignified menstruation is an innovative, inclusive, transformative approach for gender equality including climate justice. Till now, none of the global gender equality and social inclusion policies address the discrimination related with the menstruation and menopause at home, school, community, workplace, including parliament. The acknowledgement of urgency of dignified menstruation is missing throughout the course of human rights and development for decades. Here, I also would like to gently remind dignified menstruation is everyone's business because it is a matter of the human rights. There is still much research needed to do, capacity building, media and policy advocacy at local, national, regional and global levels. I pledge everyone to consider dignified menstruation is an urgency in every moment, no matter where you are and what educational background or wealth you have. I encourage you all to use our reading materials on dignified menstruation, such as training manual. It is available in online, the English version, and also the available in Nepali language. Likewise, we have a mini handbook called Dignified Menstruation is Everyone's Business. It is available in English, Nepali, French, German, Spanish and sign language. That is why Unholy Blood in Nepali as well as in English. The English version is available in Amazon as well. And our very much practical handbook, it is called Dignified Menstruation, a practical handbook. It is also available online and it will provide the very basic principles about dignified menstruation, and it will challenge you why you need to incorporate the dignified menstruation without any condition. Likewise, we have a dignified menstruation for girls with the neurodevelopmental disorders. It is also available in online, also available in Nepali language. And this is called the Srishti Ko Ragat Ko Gatha. That means the stories of the menstrual blood. It is available in Nepali language and it is more important for the journalists. While working in the media, it is very, very important. Likewise, the another book in Nepali called Mariam Manchevai, it means it's all about the identifying the invisible forms of menstrual discrimination among the Muslim communities and the way forward. Likewise, the other book is called Menstrual Stories, an anthology from Global South. You can find the 14 stories mostly from the Global South. And likewise, You also find the book chapters like Gender Agency in Transcultural Hinduism and Buddhism. You can find the one chapter dedicated to the dignified menstruation. Likewise, the period matters. You can find the concept and principles and history of the dignified menstruation. Likewise, we have already contributed in different international books, more than 9 books. You can find in online. I also take this opportunity to invite you all for celebrating the 6th International Dignified Menstruation Day on 8th December. With the theme of Upholding Dignified Menstruation, Foundation for Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights. This year we will be hosting an event in Boston, USA. Please join us. Last but not least, I thank Italian Foundation for this opportunity. Yet I gently would like to remind you all that dignified menstruation is not just about the 5 days of the bleeding or issue related with the poverty or illiteracy or the pad. Neither is it only the one country's problem. It is also not about confronting any religion, ethnicity or region. It's all about embrace our existence. Let's put the dignified menstruation at center as a cross-cutting theme for equal and just society. Have a good day. I thank you. Namaste.